There are 4 phases of matter that you will need to know. The first phase of matter is solid. A substance that is solid is rigid and incompressible, meaning when you push down on it, it will not go into a smaller space. A liquid is incompressible as well, but it's not rigid. It can flow. Think about liquid water, how you can't compress it into a smaller space, but it can flow around and it takes the shape of the container that it is in, whereas a solid, it has a shape and it's always going to have that shape. Next is a gas. Gases are compressible, and this is because they're made up of a lot of space between the molecules or the particles. In a gas, every molecule or particle is on its own. It's not bound to another molecule or particle, and that is what makes it a gas. Here are some pictures of solids, liquids, and gases. Here you can see the solid has a shape. It's a cube in this situation. The molecules are vibrating because every molecule atom will be vibrating. And you can see that it is rigid. It's not going to change shape. Whereas compared to a liquid, again, it is incompressible, but it is not rigid. And you can see that the molecules are flowing past each other and moving past each other. And this compared to a gas, where every particle here is bouncing around on its own and it's taking up the space of the container that it's in. And there's a lot of space in between every particle. Whereas here with the liquid, they are all touching each other. There's no space in between the particles. So those are the 3: solid, liquid, gas. The last one we have is aqueous. Aqueous is how you say that. It is denoted with an AQ. It may seem similar to a liquid, but it is different in that aqueous means that the substance is dissolved in water. The substance has to be dissolved in water, and it must be soluble. That makes it aqueous. This is much different than a liquid. Liquids are pure. They are pure compounds or pure molecules or pure elements. They do not involve 2 different things, whereas something aqueous could be a salt like sodium chloride in water. It's very important to know that aqueous means in water, has to be dissolved in water. If it's dissolved in something else, then it is not aqueous. It's often hard to distinguish between liquids and aqueous solutions. Just know that if you have anything that's dissolved in water, it will always be aqueous. If you have something that is pure, like water on its own, if you have pure water, H2O, that would technically be a liquid because you cannot dissolve water into water. But if I were to put something into the water and it would dissolve, that would be an aqueous solution. You will always hear the word solution when referencing something that is aqueous. A dissolved solid will make a solution. So please be cognizant of the difference between the 2 of those. Last but not least, I wanted to touch on the symbols. The S is a lowercase s. The L is a lowercase l. You will always see me do this with a cursive L because otherwise it looks like a 1 and that doesn't communicate what you are trying to communicate very well. So when you are doing liquid, always do it with a cursive L. G for gas is lowercase, and aqueous is AQ, both lowercase. These appear after you write the salt formula in parentheses. So let's say I had copper sulfate, and it was dissolved in water. I would put it next to it like this.